Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning, sunlight streaming through your window, and within a few clicks, you are booking a spontaneous flight to China. No lengthy paperwork, no nerve-wracking consulate appointments, no weeks spent waiting for mysterious approvals or last-minute calls from embassy staff. All you need is your passport, a bit of wanderlust, and a readiness for adventure. For millions of travelers from nearly 50 countries, this dream is rapidly morphing into a reality. But what is truly driving the world's most populous nation, a country steeped in millennia of tradition and a recent history of cautious border controls, to suddenly fling open its doors to so many foreigners? And what might unfold if this bold experiment in openness does not go according to plan? Let's take a step back and revisit the recent past, a period marked by global uncertainty and shuttered borders. The COVID pandemic did not just disrupt daily life, it slammed the brakes on the lifeblood of international tourism. Before the pandemic, China was riding high as one of the world's premier travel destinations, drawing over 65 million international visitors every single year. In 2019 alone, inbound tourism revenue soared to a staggering 130 billion United States dollars, fueling growth in hotels, airlines, local businesses, and entire regional economies. Cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou became synonymous with bustling international arrivals, while far-flung provinces such as Yunnan and Xinjiang welcomed curious explorers eager to experience the wonders of China's diverse landscapes and heritage sites. Yet, as the pandemic swept the globe, China's once porous borders slammed shut. For more than 3 years, visa approvals ground to a near halt, and even business travelers found themselves stuck in bureaucratic limbo. The result? A tourism industry that had once been a golden engine of economic growth was reduced to a fraction of its former self. Restaurants catering to foreign palates closed their doors, hotels in major cities stood half-empty, and local artisans who once thrived on international curiosity faced mounting hardships. By the end of 2022, industry insiders openly wondered, had China's golden era of tourism ended for good? Now, in a dramatic reversal, China is betting everything on a grand reopening. The government has not only revived, but aggressively expanded its 30-day visa-free entry policy, extending eligibility to nearly 50 nations. This includes powerhouses like France, Germany, Japan, Australia, and Brazil, as well as smaller states such as Andorra, Oman, and Uruguay. On top of that, China has struck new bilateral visa exemption deals with countries like Azerbaijan and Micronesia, signaling a willingness to build fresh diplomatic bridges. As of mid-2025, a total of 48 countries enjoy mutual visa exemption agreements with China, and the list keeps growing. The early numbers are nothing short of astonishing. In the first quarter of 2025, tourism revenue within China reached just under 1.5 trillion yuan, a jaw-dropping 42% increase year-on-year. Domestic travel is also surging, with more than 1.1 billion trips taken by Chinese citizens in just the first 3 months of the year, up over 20% from the previous year. International arrivals are swiftly rebounding as well. In the first 3 quarters of 2024, inbound arrivals hit 9.6 million, which represents approximately 90% of pre-pandemic levels. Experts estimate total inbound tourism revenue in 2024 reached over 117 billion United States dollars, closing the gap with the 130 billion achieved before the pandemic. What is fueling this rapid turnaround? The answer is a multi-layered, meticulously coordinated strategy that reaches far beyond simply waiving paperwork. China is investing heavily in its tourism infrastructure and digital future. Over the past year alone, more than 500 million yuan has been funneled into developing cutting-edge tourism apps, online booking systems, and artificial intelligence-powered visitor services. Shanghai, a city that has long epitomized modern China, has poured over 2 billion yuan into new attractions and upgrades, with the expansion of its world-famous Disney resort reaching completion in May 2025. The city's skyline sparkles with futuristic hotels, eco-friendly parks, and vibrant shopping districts, all designed to welcome and impress an international audience. Meanwhile, local governments across China are reimagining the tourism experience. Hainan Province, known as China's Hawaii, has leveraged its unique visa-free transit policy to attract over 1.2 million visitors in 2024, generating nearly 7 billion yuan in tourism revenue. Cultural tourism is thriving too. The Red Tourism movement, where travelers visit sites significant to China's revolutionary history, has experienced a renaissance, drawing 35 million visits and producing over 20 billion yuan in revenue in the past year alone. This isn't just nostalgia. It's a savvy blend of patriotism, education, and economic development that appeals to both older generations and a new wave of independent, experience-seeking youth. The global tourism industry is taking notice. The United Nations World Tourism Organization has praised China's visa policy overhaul as a beacon for global tourism recovery, highlighting the country's willingness to foster international cooperation and set new standards for travel facilitation. The China Tourism Academy echoes this optimism, predicting that inbound tourism will surge by at least 25% over the next 2 years. Euromonitor International adds that such openness is essential for China to regain its status as a top-tier destination, attracting not only traditional tour groups, but also millennials and Gen Z travelers eager for unique, off-the-beaten-path experiences. Indeed, the ripple effects are already visible. In the weeks following China's latest visa policy announcements, flight bookings to Chinese cities spiked by 40%, according to Forward Keys, a leading travel analytics firm. Airlines are ramping up direct routes, while international hotel chains are racing to open new properties in anticipation of a sustained influx. On the ground, local restaurants, craft markets, and tour operators are seeing a fresh wave of opportunity. The iconic Canton Fair, a bellwether for business travel, welcomed 250,000 international business travelers at its latest session, facilitating over $35 billion in trade deals and streamlining visa procedures to cut wait times dramatically. But beneath the surface excitement, important questions and challenges remain. Will this visa-free experiment truly bring China's international arrivals and spending back to, or even beyond, pre-pandemic heights? Or are there hidden obstacles that could slow or even derail the recovery? First, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Major source markets like the United Kingdom and the United States are still conspicuously absent from the visa-free list. Despite intense lobbying from business councils and travel industry leaders, Chinese authorities have yet to extend the same easy entry to travelers from these critical nations. The reasons are complex, ranging from geopolitical tensions and concerns about reciprocity. Will these countries offer Chinese citizens similar access? To ongoing debates about national security. The absence of the United States and the United Kingdom means millions of high-spending potential visitors are still facing cumbersome visa processes, limiting the full economic impact of the policy shift. Second, there is the issue of logistics and infrastructure. While cities like Shanghai, Beijing, and Shenzhen are equipped to handle surges in international arrivals, smaller cities and rural areas are scrambling to expand capacity. Language barriers, cultural misunderstandings, and the sheer scale of China's territory present unique challenges for both travelers and local hosts. The government is pouring resources into training hospitality staff, improving signage in major tourist destinations, and launching digital platforms to streamline everything from hotel check-in to museum ticketing. However, the question remains, can these efforts keep pace with the projected influx? Third, the specter of uneven benefits looms large. While countries like Azerbaijan and Micronesia anticipate a tourism boom, expecting annual jumps of up to 20% and revenue surges of 30% over 3 years, other nations remain on the sidelines. Some countries enjoy up to 90 days of visa-free access, while others are limited to 30 days, and many still rely on the 240-hour transit visa program available in cities like Beijing and Shanghai. This patchwork approach means that the benefits of China's grand reopening are not distributed equally across the globe. Furthermore, the broader global context cannot be ignored. Geopolitical frictions, shifting trade alliances, and the lingering effects of the pandemic all cast long shadows over the tourism sector. For China to fully capitalize on its visa-free gamble, it must navigate an increasingly complex international landscape. Will other countries reciprocate with similar openness? Or will tit-for-tat restrictions limit the flow of travelers? Security concerns, both real and perceived, could lead to sudden policy reversals or new barriers to entry. China's leaders face a delicate balancing act, opening the gates wide enough to fuel economic growth, while retaining the ability to respond quickly to new risks. On the other hand, the opportunities on the table are enormous. If China continues to expand visa-free access, especially to major markets like the United Kingdom and the United States, the floodgates could open even wider. Some industry analysts predict that such a move could inject an additional 20 to 30 billion United States dollars per year into the Chinese economy, transforming the fortunes of local businesses, airlines, and cultural institutions. The potential for cross-border partnerships and joint ventures is immense, particularly in the realms of digital tourism, ecotourism, and cultural exchange. The government is not leaving anything to chance. Massive investments in tourism infrastructure are underway nationwide. Over the next 5 years, China is committing up to 800 billion yuan to expand its high-speed rail network and upgrade aviation hubs, aiming to connect even the most remote corners of the country to major international gateways. New theme parks, eco-friendly resorts, and cultural heritage projects are springing up from the Yangtze River Delta to the highlands of Tibet. The Visit China Year campaign, launched in 2025, aims to boost inbound tourism by 30% by highlighting the nation's cultural treasures and natural wonders. Digital transformation sits at the heart of this strategy. In 2024 alone, China invested $500 million in smart tourism platforms, harnessing artificial intelligence and big data to create seamless, personalized travel experiences. Mobile apps now guide visitors through city streets, translate menus in real time, and suggest customized itineraries based on individual interests. Payment systems like Alipay and WeChat Pay are expanding to accommodate foreign bank cards, smoothing transactions for international travelers. Gartner, a leading technology research firm, notes that China's rapid digitalization of tourism services is quietly setting new global benchmarks. Tourism boards from Europe to the Middle East are watching closely, eager to replicate China's success in streamlining travel and enhancing visitor satisfaction. But not every sector or region will reap equal rewards. Major Western markets like the United States and the United Kingdom remain on the sidelines for now, fueling frustration among global business leaders and tourism operators. At the same time, smaller countries that do gain access, like Azerbaijan and Micronesia, could see transformative growth. Azerbaijan, for example, anticipates a 15 to 20% annual increase in Chinese visitors, while Micronesia expects its tourism revenue to jump by 30% over the next 3 years. The benefits are substantial, but the playing field is far from level. Opportunities abound for local economies and entrepreneurs. Hotels, airlines, restaurants, and shopping districts are experiencing a renaissance as tourism revenue climbs by more than 40% year-on-year in early 2025. Lin Xiaofeng, a senior analyst at the China Tourism Academy, remarks, "China's tourism sector is roaring back, but long-term success will depend on staying open, digital, and sustainable." New types of adventures are emerging, from immersive red tourism experiences and ecological parks to indie art festivals and culinary tours. A younger, more independent wave of travelers, digital natives, are seeking unique, Instagram-worthy moments that blend tradition with innovation. The challenge is ensuring that these gains are both long-lasting and environmentally responsible, avoiding the pitfalls of over-tourism and resource depletion that have plagued other global hotspots. So what does this all mean for you? The intrepid traveler? The business innovator? Or the curious observer of global trends? If you hail from any of the nearly 50 countries now enjoying visa-free entry, China has never been more accessible. This is your opportunity to wander through the ancient alleys of Xi'an, marvel at the futuristic skyline of Shanghai, hike the misty peaks of Zhangjiajie, or take in the serene beauty of West Lake in Hangzhou, all without the headache of complicated paperwork. For business owners and entrepreneurs, the reopening presents a golden window for cross-border partnerships, new tourism products, and digital ventures tailored to a global audience. And even if your country is not yet on the visa-free list, do not despair. The pace of change is rapid, and opportunities may be just around the corner. The 240-hour visa-free transit policy, available in more than 55 cities and provinces, offers a taste of China's vastness for travelers in transit. Tech-savvy travelers can leverage digital platforms to plan and personalize their visits, while local businesses can forge alliances with Chinese partners to tap into new markets. But the lessons here go far beyond travel deals, passport stamps, or holiday plans. China's visa gamble is a living case study in how nations can engineer economic recovery through openness, technological innovation, and bold policy experimentation. It demonstrates both the power and the risks of moving swiftly in a world defined by uncertainty. Consider this. If China hits its ambitious target of 145 million outbound tourist trips in 2025, its citizens alone could inject over 250 billion United States dollars into the global tourism economy. That is the scale of the stakes, not only for China, but for the entire world. To answer the big question, can China fully capitalize on its visa-free bet? The outcome is not predetermined. Achieving true success will require more than just attracting tourists. It will mean delivering exceptional quality, ensuring safety, offering fresh experiences, and building lasting relationships. China must address legitimate international concerns, thoughtfully expand the visa-free list, and remain at the cutting edge of digital transformation. Governments, businesses, and travelers who adapt to these new realities stand to gain the most. Here is a lesser-known fact. Behind the scenes, China's rapid digitalization of its tourism sector is quietly rewriting the global rulebook. The algorithms and mobile platforms powering travel in places like Shanghai, Hainan, and Shenzhen are now being studied by tourism boards and policymakers from Berlin to Dubai. The future of travel, personalized, seamless, and data-driven, may well be written, coded, and first experienced in China before spreading to the rest of the world. Of course, the future holds both promise and uncertainty. If China continues to expand its visa-free program to include major markets like the United Kingdom and the United States, the economic impact could be transformative, potentially adding up to $30 billion United States dollars per year in tourism revenue. Yet the challenges, reciprocity, security, and geopolitical tensions are very real. The success of China's strategy will depend on striking the right balance between openness and caution, investment and sustainability. As the world watches, China's next chapter in tourism is poised to make history. Will the country's bold visa-free initiative rejuvenate its tourism empire and reshape global perceptions? Or will unforeseen pitfalls force a retreat? The answer will not only influence the travel industry, but could also redefine how China is seen in the 21st century. A leader in innovation, a champion of openness, or a case study in the complexities of globalization. So, as more countries vie for inclusion and technology continues to revolutionize the travel experience, China's tourism story is still being written. The real question for travelers, investors, and policymakers around the globe is this: what will it take for China to truly reclaim its place atop the world's tourism throne? And who stands to win or lose the most in this high-stakes game? If you have found this deep dive insightful, do not forget to subscribe for more explorations of global economics and breakthrough technologies. Which country would you like to see added to China's visa-free list next? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you are feeling inspired, spread the word by sharing this video. The next great travel revolution